Today's episode is brought to you by Rocket IT. Is your team still working remotely? Is it starting to look like a more permanent solution? Let us help you streamline that experience and increase productivity by creating a reliable network, increasing collaboration, and boosting security. Click the link in this video's description for more information about Rocket IT's remote workforce roadmap.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Thrive. I am your host, Colleen Frangos, Rocket IT's Community Relationship Coordinator, and I have a most fabulous guest joining me today, the one and only Jessica Stewart. Jessica, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to our conversation today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, yes, and we've got much to say. So, a little bit about Jessica. She is quite the mover and shaker here in Gwinnett. So I do, you guys, I think she's fabulous. And she's quite the rising star as well. She currently serves as the Community Programs Manager for the Office of Community Outreach for Gwinnett County Government. That was a mouthful, but I did it.
You did great. You did great.
So she's also the board chair for Gwinnett Young Professionals, which is really exciting. I think they're going to accomplish great things with her leadership. And she is a passionate leader. I think, you work really hard to cultivate relationships, to strengthen our community, and to raise leaders. I think I saw your quote on LinkedIn and I was like, that's so true. Let's raise everybody up to meet their full potential. And I think you just are such an inspiration. I think in your volunteer efforts, in your job, and what you do to serve our community. To that end, I've said enough. I think we want to hear from you, Jessica. So tell us a little bit about, what you do with the county. What does the Office of Community Outreach do?
Wow. Thank you so much, Colleen. And I appreciate your kind words. It's so strange when people say, like, you're a rising star. I'm like, wait, what? When? I just trying to just show up and do my best to serve Gwinnett. And this is an area, a place that I've had the privilege to call home. And for all 31 years of my living. So I am just so honored to be able to serve our community and have conversations with amazing people like you who are just as invested in Gwinnett's success.
Mm-hmm.
So our Office of Community Outreach started a little over 5 years ago under the leadership of our now chairwoman, Nicole Love Hendrickson. She was the first program director. She brought the vision to pass that the commission chair had in the past. So Charlotte Nash and the Board of Commissioners, they envision a way to connect with those that are traditionally marginalized in county government, whether that is young adults, our youth.
Mm-hmm.
We identify that as racial ethnicities, as well as our immigrant population. And this is an opportunity to really empower and engage residents across the spectrum. And when Nicole started, she always says, like, there was no really blueprint because no one was really doing outreach at this level, this strategically and intentionally in the Metro Atlanta area. And really, I'm not sure across the Southeast. So she kind of created a formula to engage residents. And now we have our signature programs, which some of you may be familiar with. And if you're not, then please, please, please visit us at GwinnettCounty.com/community outreach, because you will learn so much about the programs that we offer, the events that we do. Some of those being our Gwinnett 101. It's a Citizens Academy. It is literally a behind the scenes of how your county government works, how it functions. You meet county leaders, department heads, and you get to learn, right? Just what does my county do for me? What do my taxpayer dollars go for? And how can I make a difference? How can I show up in our community? One of a cool fun fact, and of course, to become a board commissioner, you do not have to go through our Citizens Academy, but 3 out of 4 of our board commissioners have gone through our Citizens Academy. And part of their running, or what inspired them to get started was being a part of the Gwinnett 101 Citizens Academy and seeing how they could make a difference in the community. And that's just one way they decided to show up. But we have so many people that decide to show up in so many other ways. Our volunteers, our alumni, they're amazing, and they stay connected and they stay engaged in our community. They volunteer at our food drives and distributions. They show up in their community more as PTA moms or as HOA presidents, and they just find ways to give back. And that is and not even just give back, but they're informed, right?
Yeah.
And so we love to have people empowered with correct information going out, or at least knowing where to get correct information, going out into the community and sharing that correct information with their neighbors and with their friends. We just had our fall class in 2020, and I told them, I said, Gwinnett is embarking on 1 million residents, which is mind blowing. Like, we're as large as some of cities and different, like in the Midwest, and we have the population of some states probably nearing.
True.
And all in one county.
Yep.
And I said, for us to reach our constituents, for us to reach our residents, we can't do it alone.
Yeah.
I don't care how many people you hire. You can hire 20 outreach people and we still won't reach enough people to engage and inform them about what we do as a county and how we serve them as a community. And that's why our Citizens Academy is so imperative, because they can be our champions. They're our ambassadors. They're out there telling people, like, this is how you get engaged. Or if I don't know, I know someone who does. And usually those are the phone calls that we get. Like, I have a friend, or I know someone. Do you have a contact with? And it's just so great to be able to connect the dots internally with our residents and making sure that they're getting to the right people in our county government so that they can get the services that they need exponentially.
Yeah.
Something else that we do as a county is our youth commission. So just as much as we like to inform our adults, because for Gwinnett 101, that's 18 and up. There is no, as long as you're an adult, you live or work in Gwinnett County, you are more than able to apply, and we welcome your applications. We actually just finished our application round for our spring cohort, but the application is still open because we have a fall cohort coming up. So if you're interested, if that sounds like, hey, I want to know more about how my county functions, I want to be an active member in my community, check us out at Gwinnett101.com, my shameless plug, and apply. And
all good.
It will be amazing. Yes. But we have a youth component to that. And we're actually accepting applications right now for our youth commission. And this is a training program. It's a leadership development as well as engaging our youth, high school students from 10th through 12th grade about how their county government works, because they're our future. And we want to make sure that they understand how policies come into play, who are key leaders, and how can you as a youth, even though you are young, you could still help influence and make a difference and make a change and show up in your community in such big ways. So we are accepting applications now for our youth commission through April 12th. Please visit our Gwinnett County outreach page on GwinnettCounty.com to learn more. But yes, that's just a fraction of what we get to do. And those are the programs that I oversee. We also have cultural events that we do. Usually they're in person. They're amazing. We'll have of course, like pre-COVID,
right?
But we've been able to do some things online as well. And it's just a way of celebrating the rich diversity that we have here in the county. It's something that we talk about often, but we don't get to celebrate as much. And so that is something that we really champion, and making sure that we work with our community partners, we work with diverse constituents and diverse groups, nonprofit organizations, businesses, to say, how can we better celebrate? How can we show up and celebrate So we have our Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations, API Month celebrations, as well as our Black History Month celebrations too. And so those are just a few ways that community outreach really gets engaged and involved, not including all the numerous boards that we try to show up for and task force
Mm.
that we sit in and advise and give recommendations for how we can better engage our community, to going to events and tabling. You might see me table an event because I love being in the community. So
Yeah.
we'll table events, we'll show up and just invite us, and we would love to come and have a space to just share how you can be more empowered, more engaged in your community, and learn more about what the county provides as services to you as a
Yeah.
resident of Gwinnett County.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, you guys are busy, no
Yes.
doubt. And
Yeah.
and there's a lot of great things going. I mean, a lot of good being done, and the way you guys
Yes.
show up to serve our county, it's no easy feat. And you're doing a great job. I will say that. To that point, last year we
Oh
had
my God.
a lovely pandemic that changed how you guys were able to serve the community. And with the
Yes.
Office of Community Outreach, you guys did have to, pivot, adjust, transform
Yes.
what you did. So tell us a little bit about how some of those programs were modified even.
Yes. So outreach last year was a doozy for sure.
Mhm.
As I mentioned earlier, our department, our director, Nicole Love Hendrickson, who's now our chairwoman, she has stepped down from her post to run for
Mhm.
office shortly before the pandemic really hit.
Mhm.
And so the end of February was her last day in the office. And 2 weeks later, we're going into like, what is COVID, and schools are shutting down.
Yeah.
And we had actually just had our selection for our spring cohort of Gwinnett 101, and I had sent out emails saying like, we're excited to see you guys in April. And then a week later I'm sending out, sorry, we have to cancel this program because we don't know what this virus is. We don't know how to keep our community safe at this time. And because there was so much unknown, there was no way we could forge ahead with any type of social distancing or COVID-19 practices and protocols that we have now that help keep us safe. And so that was really disappointing because I was
Yeah.
excited to have our spring cohort. One of the things that I was really intentional about for myself was like, I know Nicole is stepping down, but I don't want people to feel like outreach has ended
Mhm.
because our director is now no longer with the program. I want people to know that we're still engaged in the community. We still want to show up in the community. So Gwinnett Cares had started shortly after the pandemic really took effect in late March.
Mhm.
And I just started listening in on some of the calls, and there wasn't a lot that I could do, especially at the time. I was a program coordinator and I didn't even know what life was going to look like for
Right.
us. But I was like, I can at least listen and keep a pulse on how the community is showing up and what the needs are in the community if there's ever an opportunity to do more.
Yeah.
And while listening on those calls, I learned about some of the great work that our other departments were doing. So our community services team, Lindsay Jorstead, led these efforts, but they started doing food distributions almost immediately afterwards. And it was incredible. And as I was learning about that, I was like, Lindsay, can I come join you on a food distribution? Like, I need to be out in the community. I would love to help in any way. And so they graciously allowed me to like come out and help pack food. And I just got to see the work to be able to see firsthand how our county staff responded to COVID was just incredible. And to play a very, very small part in delivering services during that
Mhm.
time was just a fuel for me to say that we can keep going. We can find ways to pivot, that
Yeah.
awful P word, but we found ways to pivot some of our programs so that they could be online friendly.
Mhm.
So coming up and through, we were still going through our GYC applications. Our
Mhm.
cycle was still open, and I was debating back and forth if we were going to be able to offer it online or offer it at all, or
Yeah.
did I want to try a hybrid model? And I begged. He recently retired, but Phil Hoskins was the deputy county administrator at the time, and he was my direct report since Nicole stepped down. And I was like, please let me try GYC. Like, let me try a hybrid version. I need to do something. I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you feel like you can do it and do it safely, go for it, but you don't have to. It's not something that we're looking for you to do. And I was like, well, I just want to try. Like, I want to see what would happen. And we were able to pivot our GYC, the summer trainings. Our students met weekly on Zoom from about 9 to 2 o'clock, learning about our county government. And
It's so
towards
good.
yeah, the fact that we still had youth show up, and they showed up every Wednesday from 9 to 2 to say, I want to learn about how my county works. And of course, we took mental breaks, and they had leadership training. And it wasn't the same as if we were all together in person, and they understood that.
Yeah.
But we did what we could with what we had.
Yes.
And the response and the result of that was a beautiful thing, because now we do meet weekly or monthly in person, and they have programs that they plan, and they implement these programs, and they're planning some amazing enrichment for youth and advocating for youth across our county. And so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And when I did that, he was like, okay, so what is Citizens Academy going to look like? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know. Like, how do we pivot our Citizens Academy to an online or a hybrid model? And we did. I reached out to our departments. Our departments were phenomenal.
That's
They
awesome.
were so willing. Whatever you need, let us know. We will make it work. Our safety officials, our first responders, our essential workers, right? We knew that COVID was still too much in the fall to try and have in person.
Mhm.
But they said we could do it virtually. We have no problem doing an online version of this. So our chief showed up. The for our fire, and our chief for our police. They said we still want to be a part of these
So
conversations
good.
because we want to connect with residents. We want people to know that the county is still going. People kept
Yeah.
asking me, like, during the pandemic, is the county open? I'm like, the county's been open. We haven't stopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no shutdown.
Right.
Whereas we had, of course, some people were working remotely. Others came back into the office. I'm back in the office. We still have people that are doing what's best for them to keep
Mhm.
them and their families safe.
True.
But the county never stopped going. And so
Right. Right.
it's a testament to our leadership here at the county. It's a testament to our staff and our frontline workers who are dedicated to making sure that we see as little disruption of
Yes.
services that we possibly can. And
So
so
true.
we appreciate people's patience.
Mhm.
We had our graduation for our fall class, and it was just amazing because we were able to do it in person. It was distant, it was socially distanced, everybody's wearing a mask. It wasn't as long as we normally would have it, but we showed that we could show up, and
Yes.
that we could do this. And I was really blessed to be able to work with a place that entrusted me to, even though I had just been with the county a little under a year, to say, like, I think I can figure out a way to keep our signature programs going. And they
That's huge.
entrusted me to be able to see that through, and said, if you think you can do it, because they could have pulled the plug. They could have been
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
no, you're just a year in. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll pick it
figure it
up.
out. We'll
Yeah.
pick it up. Like, let's wait till we get a director in place. Like, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
But at that time, and I would have been fine with that too,
Yeah.
but to be able to have that trust to
Mhm.
say, like, if you think you can do this, go for it.
Right.
And to be able to go for it and show that, like, we can pivot, we can find ways to show up in our community was really great. And other departments, I think, were inspired because after our summer sessions with our youth commission, I get a call from our community service, someone in our community services who does the after school programs and some of the field trips for Gwinnett County Public Schools. And they were like, "How did you do your youth commission? Like, what account did you use?" And so I'm like advising them, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I use Zoom. I would recommend this version. This is how it worked for us. This is what I would recommend going. Like, if I could go back and do it differently, this is what I would do differently."
So
And
true.
so the county across different departments were able to find ways to utilize technology to say like, okay, let's invest in these dollars so that we could continue to provide our programs and our events and find ways to show up in the community. So sometimes you have to dare to be the first because
Yeah.
people are so afraid of the unknown and nobody wants to be the one to be like, "Ooh, I got that wrong."
Yeah. No,
But
I love that.
yeah, but I
And you
don't
guys,
mind.
yeah. Well, and you, I mean, your approach was purely like, I can't sit back and just let things happen. I'm going to make things happen. And
Yeah,
I think it's all for the greater good. And you've done an excellent job. And,
thank you.
Jessica, I'm looking at her time and wrapping things up. I do want to
Yes,
thank you for your efforts and your dedication and for showing up. That's half the battle. So,
yes,
I think the county is very lucky to have your leadership and your support and just,
yeah.
I think you are a super connector and, I'm glad to know you and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And
Yeah.
any way that we can show up in our community is essential. And I just want to say I know really quick, I know we
Oh,
only
you're
have a few minutes, but our department is expanding. We we are blessed to have an internal appointment for community outreach. Her name is Shanika Taylor. She's our director. So she's very familiar with the outreach initiatives and the
yeah.
programs and is very passionate about connecting to our community. And when she came on board, she said, I need to grow. What she envisioned is to grow our team.
Yeah.
And so we nearly are going to be doubling in size essentially. And so the work that we're going to be able to do in the future, especially when we get past COVID,
Right.
people always say like, "Oh, I want to get back to normal." And I'm like, "No, let's set a new normal. Like let's do more than what we could have done before. We've seen how we can utilize technology to
Yeah.
leverage and still reach people and connect people. So let's not go back. Let's forge ahead and figure out how we can continue to be our best and keep the things that my dad would always say, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. So keep the things that worked.
Yeah.
Well, we could definitely leave COVID behind, but
Yeah.
keep
That's
the
got to go.
things that we learned because of COVID and allow that to better enhance our programs and services. So I'm really
Definitely.
looking forward to growing our team,
Yeah.
to being a part of that growth and strategy for what community outreach is going to look like. And if there's any ways that we could better support you as residents, those that are listening, better support our community, send us an email, reach out to us, please. We're open to new ideas. We don't think we have it all reached or figured out.
Mm.
So there's always a way to stay connected and to stay informed. So if there's anything that we could do that we can better improve, let us know. We're open to that. We want to make sure that we're reaching those that are traditionally underserved and
Yeah.
bringing people into the fold of what it
Love
means
that.
to advocate for the community.
So true.
Yes.
Jessica, you're spot on. And we will make sure that we include links so that way
Yes.
everybody knows how to reach you guys over there. And again, thank you so much for being here, Jessica.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this, Colleen. This was a great opportunity, and I look forward to just working. I know I'm going to see you more in the community, especially as more events happen in
Yes.
person. So I really look
Woo.
forward to seeing you around and seeing the great work that you're doing.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Well, and everyone, thanks for tuning in on this awesome episode of Thriving. And stay tuned for more great content coming from Rocket IT. And don't forget to get in touch with Jessica and her team. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.